The last question we received was how to recover from a 50% traffic drop from Google. This is a tough one. We have seen this before. I remember a client that essentially dropped over 3 days, I think, by 70% and almost lost his business just because of this ranking drop. You really want to make sure you know why you dropped. Okay, and there can be multiple reasons. One reason could be link-based, for example. We see negative SEO attacks, as they call it, where negative links affect the site's ranking. So this could be links completely unrelated. This could be links that confuse Google. This could be links that come from shady neighborhoods or so-called private blog networks Google doesn't like at all, or things like those. So you want to see which links have been pointing to the site in the previous weeks and see if there is any pattern. So you might want to disavow those links. Disavowing means sending Google a so-called disavow file, asking Google not to take into account those links. There are a few more things to this, but this is about the direction if it's really link-based. Most of the times, it's really content and user experience based. So there is something on your site users don't like too much, and Google collects those signals over time, and then very often with an update, kind of makes use of this information and drops your ranking. We have just seen a site that hasn't changed over many years, for example, drop from a solid position 1 to position 6, and they now need to reinvent their site a little bit, see what ranks right now, what should they do about this. They still rank on page 1 in a very solid position, but it's not number 1 anymore. So to get back to number 1, we need to find a better way to approach what Google wants, what users expect. And then once Google picks up the new signals, I'm very confident they're going to be number 1 again. But we definitely need to see what is it that Google wants to rank. And the only way to see this is Googling and checking out the top results, which results come up on top, and why might this be the case. On the last Google update, for example, one of the reasons seems to be that Google favors big brands, sites with more traffic, sites that are a little bit broader, not only have maybe one page that's ranking for a topic, but cover the topic from different angles. This would speak towards the strategy of topic clusters we have been talking about very often already, and which is part of the coaching as well. So you definitely want to figure out why you have dropped. This could also be user experience based. Think about the user experience on your site, the user experience on the competing domains you have on page 1 on Google or ahead of you, and see what's the difference. We just had a site that was too salesy. So they asked for conversions and sales right away and then gave the information users wanted, whereas their competitors led with information. They were leading with information and then asked for the conversion afterwards, which seems to be the approach Google prefers. So we had the client restructure their menu, their navigation, create a better user experience, and over time, Google is going to pick up new signals. They already get a lower bounce rate. People stay longer on the site, etc. So there are metrics you can see automatically resonate more with your target audience. And then over time, Google sees that more and more pages they start to rank, get better signals. You're going to get better rankings. So it could be link-based, content-based, and user experience-based. It's essentially part of user experience is site load time. So don't forget about performance optimization. And also, if you don't know about that yet, there is a new thing called Web Vitals, where Google has defined 3 types of criteria that can annoy users and should be taken into account. So one of them, for example, a layout that shifts around a lot when it gets loaded, or one being that you have like a very big element that takes certain time to load, or it takes too long for the user to interact, to engage with the site. So all these could be possible reasons why the user experience is not the way it is. Another one we've seen as well is that on mobile phones, for example, the experience is totally different than on desktop, and you might have a great site on the desktop, but maybe on a mobile phone, the user experience isn't that good anymore. You might have all the options hidden in the drop-down menu, and I don't see them when scrolling down, etc. There's a lot of things to it, but definitely find out where the traffic drop comes from, most likely, and tackle all the possible options. Don't tackle one and wait for a few weeks. and see if it was that one. You have to fill all the buckets. So there's a bucket for page speed, there's a bucket for user experience, there's a bucket for content, there's a bucket for backlinks. Fill all of those, and then you're going to see you have a very good chance to come back up very soon.